Okay guys, gonna do a quick little video on the little power wheels, little electric power wheels build I've been doing. It's the first video I've shot of it, so I haven't really got much information out there yet. It's independent front suspension. It's got two little Morphon 1700 watt motors in it. I just last night fitted some new batteries to it. We went for an AGM 44 amp hour battery. They seem to be a big improvement over the little 22 UPS supply batteries that I had in it. They were just not dealing with it real well, but that was just there for a quick get it up and running. So yeah, this is it. It's a little Jeep. You can see under there we got some independent front suspension on it. Everything on this thing I've made in-house pretty much, except for things like seats and the motors themselves, speed controllers. But as far as suspension, chassis, axles, all that goes, you can see here I've built some little hubs, built sprockets for it. I'm actually just in the process of taking a link out of this chain. This is the first iteration of this build. This axle is going to be going very shortly, and I'm going to be putting a single 16 kilowatt motor in this, a Moto Energy 1718, I believe it is, with a Curtis controller. So we're going to actually delete the dual motor setup that you can see under here. With the little 1700 watt motors, we're going to go to a single 16 kilowatt motor. Get rid of that. I'm going to redesign the entire rear axle on here. We're going to go to a tubular axle and match the chassis. As you can see, I haven't even welded the chassis up yet. This is just still in the testing phase. These motors were just a temporary, let's try it and see what happens. We fitted a new Chinese brake rotor and caliper on it the other night. Doesn't seem to work too well, so I've got to work something out there, whether I go to a full-size car one or something along those lines, like a Willwood or one of those options. I want to have pretty good brakes on this thing. It's only got rear brakes at the moment. With the 16 kilowatt motor, I dare say we're probably going to need to have some pretty good brakes on this thing, just judging by the way it goes with 3 kilowatts. It's going to have a lot more power, a lot more top end speed. Currently the car does about 25 mile an hour in probably a 400 foot stretch of dirt. You can get up to about 25 mile an hour from the gate to the first corner, which is not bad. It's pretty fast for a little power wheels. Hanging on to this thing, it's, yeah, when you get into the corners, you're moving. It'd be nice to actually have a decent brake on it that you could rely on, so I'm going to work on that. You can't really push this thing too hard into the corners at the moment, but yeah, we'll once I get this axle adjusted up, I've got to take a link out of this chain. You can see in here the chain's pretty loose at the moment, so it was jumping teeth there. These are a sprocket I made myself. I make them on the mill. I've got to refine it a little bit, put some nicer edges on it and just make it look a bit better, but I'm going to make a couple of different size sprockets up for it. I've got a 60 tooth on the back at the moment, 11 tooth on the front. Seems to be a pretty nice gear ratio for this thing. Wish it had a little bit more top end, but I don't want to sacrifice the low end, so I think it's a pretty good number at the moment. So yeah, once I get this done, get it adjusted, we'll take her out, we'll go for a spin. A little bit on the batteries first, actually. So yeah, these are a full throttle battery. They're actually a start battery. Because of the motor that's going in this thing, it's gonna draw quite a bit of power So I wanted to have something that was not going to give it up too easy. The old batteries I was running on it was these little Mighty Max batteries, and they just didn't do very well, which I didn't expect to. They were rated for a peak current of 300 amps, I think, but they just didn't want to handle it. I've got the speed controller's just zip tied on the side here, and then the second set of batteries behind it. So it's in a 48 volt configuration, so 44 amp hour, 48 volts. There's the specs on the battery for anyone who wants to see that. You can see it's got a little brake pedal here. It's a bit of a shonky job. I mounted the master cylinder and then couldn't find the steel I needed to make up the extension for the pedal, so I just used a whole heap of little rod and made it work. But yeah, we got the isolation switch up the front. We got the two 12 volt batteries here, two 12 volt batteries under the seat. That's the charge port. I'll eventually mount this guy here, fix him there so I can just walk up. Bought a Lester 48 volt charger for it the other day as well. This thing is amazing. It's a little bit too much charger for it, but I ran it down according to the charger, 14 amp hours. I ran the thing for probably 15 minutes last night, and it charged up in probably 35 minutes, I guess. So yeah, that's that. Let's go give this thing a run and we'll show you what it does.